Hey guys, so I need to do another health update. Um, we're officially towards the winter solstice now, and I do think I need to kind of talk about things and touch base on what's happening during this time. I think it's really significant. So, just to get it out of the way, I really in November I reached a point where I could not be losing weight anymore. My appetite went through the roof. Um, and I'm okay with it. I'm not like super horrified or anything. I think there's some seasonal things going on. I also think that I was in a deficit for quite a while, for about 6 months solidly. Actually almost 7 months. So that was kind of a bit of time. And I think that that does denote some plateauage coming at a certain point. And just to remind you guys, like, I am definitely on the bigger side of the spectrum, but I'm not like over 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hugely huge anymore. I was really close to no longer being super morbidly obese, but I have gone up a bit, and it's like, yeah, that kind of faded me or evaded me. I knew that it would during this time. Um, So I think it's just a lot of like kind of taking the L a little bit. It's not exactly like completely white flag territory. Like it isn't really like that. It's just in terms of the seasonal effects, it's just too much to overcome at this time. And so I do want to talk about how things are different this year so far versus last year. I ate a lot on Thanksgiving and I had a little bit of corn. So we have like cornbread stuffing, and I had cornbread on Thanksgiving, which it's one of those hypo foods, or one of those foods that's a little bit, like if you're really severely hypo, corn, it does have a little bit of PUFA in it, and it can cause a reaction or it can cause an issue, which it still does for me. But what I noticed is that when I ate it, it did affect me a lot psychologically. And I feel like it really shifted me back to where I was in the summer, which is interesting. So instead of becoming more like crazy, or more like wanting to fight, or more like manic, or the kind of like fat activist energy, that's what I call it, the hypo haze, like instead of becoming a lot like that, it was more so this depression-y, more rigid thinking, serotonin vibe that I had a lot of 2023. It took me back to that. And all that matters in regards to that is that I think that a lot of that sort of manic energy that I had, it's gone, and it's likely not coming back. So that's something I do have to say. I'm kind of beyond this hump of serotonin where it's like, if I get worse hypo wise, it makes me want to act more appropriately, not less. If anything, it starts to become too far the other way. It becomes oppressive, and like I'm always trying to look at societal expectations and stuff, like almost the exact inversion of how I was a year ago, which is really interesting. I get a little bit of, at worst levels of hypo, I feel more audience capture. Like I fear of what would happen if I say something to my audience or if I don't, which is not typically me. I'm not really like that. So this year has been really challenging in a lot of ways to be considering that so much, and be considering my reputation so much. In fact, I believe it was one of my New Year's resolutions was that I wanted to restore my reputation, which I do think I did, which is a huge accomplishment, to be honest. But I think that it's a different phase now where I'm reaching more of a balance the better I get, where I start feeling like I can defy expectations in certain aspects, but also play into expectations in other aspects, and it's more natural. I think it's more how people are supposed to be, where you can kind of understand the rules, but still break them at times without causing a huge issue. And I think I've found that balance. So that obviously does have a lot of social benefits and social implications. I am not, for a lot of the time when I was very ill, it was a lot of like, I was a bit of a liability or a wild card, or it causes issues of like people not necessarily wanting to hitch themselves to your boat, so to speak, or not wanting to commit as much, or these types of things. I think that can be really challenging for a lot of very overweight people. I don't think that I was the only one that went through stuff like that. And I do feel a lot of these things are sliding back now as we're nearing the solstice. I'm feeling more depressed, for sure, like I did in the summer. So I'm kind of backsliding, but I think that happens every year, basically around this time. It's just tough. It's really tough to like, I don't know. I have had a hard time every single December. Like, it's becoming almost like a triggering time of the year for me, because it really is hard. I talked to my mom a little bit about it today, and she was saying like a lot of it is the holidays. Because I've realized too, like this year, I'm more emotional about things that are less physical. I still think a lot about the past, and especially the last few years. They were really hard years, pretty much universally. And so I think it's just like, because I was so ill during that time, I couldn't really process things as much. And I think I'm trying to do that now. And so I think it's like a time when I need to just kind of sort through some of this emotional stuff that's been on the back burner, and kind of get myself more prepared to try to relaunch later. And I think I'm probably going to try to relaunch into weight loss around January. I'm going to try it again this year. I was able to really launch in March of last year, but I think I might be at an average level of health, which is really pathetic and bad, because America is so unhealthy. I should not be average, but I think I am, where it's like I can't really sustain a diet in November and December, but I probably could in January. I'll see. But I'm not severely hypo. I'm very midline even now. And the other thing I wanted to say is, when I ate the corn and I felt my hypo flare up, it went away really fast. I was able to purge that really quickly. My body can get rid of the excess estrogen really fast now, and get my serotonin back down and do the stuff it needs to do relatively quickly. I only just was dealing with it, detoxifying, so to speak, yesterday, and I felt it happening even throughout the day. It used to take me like a week to go back to normal. Now it takes less than 24 hours. That's huge. So it's like I tested my body, I tested the limits. I hadn't been able to eat like this in a long time, and it did come back, and I can again. And I wanted to kind of see how far I could push it, and I did in November, and I can kind of see now what the limits are, and they're pretty high, So I think it's still like I'm still trying to navigate my body being different. My body is healthier, and that leads other issues like my mind to be more of the forefront in relationships and working with other people, and these kind of things are a lot more of a focus now than they used to be. Getting my finances in order is a lot more of a focus now than it used to be. And I think December is going to be probably the last really hard time I have with this journey. But I do think it will be different. I don't believe it will be as physical this December. I suspect it will just be being a little bit more depressed and a little bit more tired and a little bit bloated. And I think I'll have those three factors, and it will just be a lot of the catching up in dealing with past and spiritual things and financial things. And I think it will just be a lot of those things hitting me at this time. As there's certain things going on within my family which are very positive, but it does bring up weird feelings. And the holidays do that for a lot of people anyways, but there's more to it than that this year. So it's a weird feeling. And I'm trying to I feel like I'm still catching up, in my life. Like I'm still trying to get to where I need to be in other areas of life, not just health, not just weight loss. Like it's like picking up the pieces, and I've only really started picking up those pieces in October. It's like it's going to take a bit longer than that, Alex. Like, my gosh. Because even from like August and September, I was still really struggling with my health, and it was still the primary focus, but it was shifting. By October, it wasn't anymore. And it still, I don't think, is going to be this December. I don't think my biggest issue will be a complete on my ass. Like last December, I had migraines all the time. It was like constantly, for days. It was horrible. I was so ill last December. Like I just remember constantly thinking about like the regrets I had over all the food I had eaten, over all the seed oils I had consumed, and what it had caused in my body in that moment. And it was more of a regret of that. Whereas like nowadays, it's like a regret of the time I lost, the way I treated people, the way I allowed myself to be treated, the way I dealt with my finances, in the financial situation I'm currently in. Like these kind of things are more so what I'm thinking about, rather than I can't believe I ate all that. It's just not the same. And it can feel worse sometimes, but I think it's about being appreciative of that huge progress. Like that's a huge shift to not just be thinking about physically dying and regretting the eating I did, and more so now thinking about bigger issues or many issues at the same time, and therefore getting a more holistic reclaiming of my life. And I think once I've figured that out, and I think it's gonna start getting better towards January, I think, just for a lot of different reasons. December tends to be a decent month for me financially, so I can hopefully set it up to be in a better place in January. The seasonal shifts will start kicking in. The days will start getting longer. I think that has a psychological effect. And I know it will be hard with the cold, but I'm just going to do the best I can and just hope for the best in the new year. In December, I think it's a time of taking the L. It's a time of bulking. It's bulking season this December. So I am still continuing to exercise. I'm extremely active. My work is very active. I'm going to go to the gym today, even if I have no motivation, and these things will probably get worse till around the solstice. We're not too far off from it. So I know it will be hard. If I get on here and I start crying and all this stuff sometime in December, I need you guys to just like forgive me for that, because I can see it coming. Like, it's been very hard every year. So I think this is the final challenge, in that sense. I think by summer I won't be Smo anymore, and it will be really different next summer, and therefore next winter as well. I think it will feel really different. So just stay tuned, I guess. I keep you guys up to date on if I'm not losing or gaining or whatever. I'm not really weighing myself that much. I just know that I weigh more. I don't know how much of it is water or bloat or this or that or anything else. So I will definitely be doing a weight update probably at some time in January or even the very end of December, when I start gearing up to shift gears again and try to go with that typical path next year of starting in January. I'm going to give it my best shot. So I think I'll be able to. I have a feeling, but right now it's just not going to happen, and that's okay. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And we're going to keep on keeping on. So sorry if you guys can hear my mom coughing. I don't know, she has really bad allergies. She's always coughing. But anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much. I will talk to you guys again soon. Hopefully I won't be like dying in December. I'm going to do my best. So yeah, I think I will definitely at least talk about my fitness journey or my health journey again on the solstice time or during that time, right when it's at peak, because I think that'll be an important time. And I'll probably be like, and I'll tell you guys how bad it has gotten. But I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a good rest of your day, and I hope you guys are mostly enjoying the holidays. Maybe you're not going to be like me and be a big sad ball all December, but let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.